Welcome to Drumcast TV. My name's Darren Mathis. Glad you could tune in. Yes, Drumcast TV, that's the new name of this podcast, formerly known as Unirunner Video Drum Lessons. I want to thank Chris from Flamacue.com. If you go to Flamacue.com, he recently posted an interview with me about the switch from Unirunner.com to Drumcast TV. Also, there's a new website to go along with this podcast. You can find that at Drumcast TV. I want to thank all the viewers who have watched Unirunner Video Drum Lessons for the last 3 years. I plan on having this podcast the same format, just a new name and new website. Again, that's drumcast.tv. I invite you to check that out. You can log on so you get your own username. You can post photos of your drum kit, profile pictures, information, bio. Also, if you have a Facebook account, you can automatically log into Drumcast TV using the Facebook Connect feature that's there. All you have to do is type in your username and password from Facebook. It automatically imports your information, profile picture, and that's a Facebook application. It works entirely through Facebook, so it's pretty cool. Check it out. Also want to mention a contest I've got going now. If you go to Drumcast TV, there'll be a listing under the listing for this podcast for today. It says post your favorite drum videos from YouTube. If you post your video under there, in the comments section, all you have to do is grab the embed from YouTube, paste it in there, your video will show up. I'm going to pick at random one of the videos that's there. I'll go to random.org and pick a random number and then just use that number to select. And the winner, or the person I select from there, will win a 2 gigabyte flash drive complete with the 2006 Unirunner Video Drum Collection. That's all the podcasts I did in 2006. I'll load that on there, and once you get on your computer, you can copy it off and use that flash drive for whatever you want. Like I said, I plan on just going ahead and answering some more voicemail messages. I've got a few queued up, so let's start with that.
Hi. I've been drumming for about a month or so. I noticed that my left hand is weaker than my right hand. And do you have any tips on how to make it stronger? Thank you.
Well, thanks.
And I am from Trinity, Texas.
Well, thank you, anonymous caller from Trinity, Texas. I believe is where you said you were from. Well, that's a common question, how to make your left hand stronger. In fact, I've got a beat here that I developed based on an exercise to make your left hand stronger, so I'll show it to you. You know, when you play a regular rock beat or a straight rock beat pattern, you end up using your right hand a lot like this. So your right hand ends up playing 2 to 4 times as many notes most of the time than your left hand. So I developed an exercise where I'm going to play, let's see here, 16th notes on my left hand and quarter notes on my right hand. That sounds like this. The trick is to use your fingers to get that propulsion going, the action on your left hand. So once I start with that exercise, I threw the kick drum in to make a beat that sounds like this. If you can develop a little more speed on your left hand using that, putting it into a beat like that, it's going to be a little more exciting than just sitting down at your practice pad and just playing. But that is a good way to develop your dexterity too, is just sit down at your practice pad and play. So that's 16 notes on each hand. So it's a little bit difficult to get that dexterity going in your left hand right away, so what I would recommend is playing it very slowly. Just build it up from there, but always start slow, make sure you can get the control, and then build it up slowly from there once you get the feel for it.
Hey, this is Dan Lars from Windy City, Michigan. I'm 12 years old. I just recently found your podcast and it's helped me out a lot, so I appreciate that. And I have a few questions for you. First of all, I have my drum set in a cool environment in my basement, surrounded by cement walls, and that affects my sound. How can I help that anyway? And as I said, it's in a cool temperature. And if I move my drum set to a warmer temperature, how bad or what would it do to my shell kit? And I'd like to know where you got your headset, your Vic Firth headset, when you listen to drumless tracks or songs and play along with them, and how much did that cost? Thanks, and God bless.
Hey Dan, thanks a lot for your question. Well, you can help out the sound of your drum kit in a basement with cement walls. If you get some carpet remnants, that's one way. You can drape them along the walls, put carpet on the floor, hang tapestries, other things like that, things that you can get cheaply at secondhand shops, things like that. That can cut down on the sound. I've got acoustic foam from Our Lux that I've got pinned up in my drum room down here, and that helps cut down the echo and the reverb and the high end of the sound quite a bit, cuts down on the noise. That's good. As far as moving your drums upstairs, I wouldn't worry about it too much unless you're doing it a lot and it's extreme differences in temperature. But just to move it upstairs or move it out for a gig, it's probably going to be fine. I've recommended before that you keep them in cases as long as possible. So like for instance, if you put them in cases in your basement, take them upstairs or wherever you're going. If it's a warmer temperature, the air inside the case is going to adjust a little bit more slowly to the room temperature that you move to. So that's a good thing about cases and warming up the drums slowly, or at least wrap them up in blankets or something like that. And also my Vic Firth headset that I listen to drumless tracks on sometimes. You can get a headset like this or equivalent from Musician's Friend for your local. I would recommend going to your local, support your local music store if possible. Otherwise you can get them online through many of the retailers. Just type in isolation headphones, you'll get a whole list of them. This cost under $100. I can't remember exactly how much they were, but these are pretty good. Modern Drummer, I think in their last issue, just had a review. So if you have, if you get Modern Drummer, I would search through there. They just did a review of several different types of isolation headphones. So the good thing about these is they block out the sound. They're kind of like those headphones you would wear if you were shooting like target practice. So they block out the sound of the drums to a certain extent, but then they've got headphones built into it, so you don't have to turn your music up as loud is the benefit, and it protects your ears a little bit more. So I would definitely recommend getting a pair of these, whether it's the Vic Firth or another brand. If you're going to be listening to a lot of music and playing drums along with a lot of music, they're pretty nice.
Hi Darren, this is Ray from Canal Fulton, Ohio. I was wondering if you could devote some more time to working on foot control. I've been drumming and taking lessons for about 6 months now, and I'm getting pretty decent at grooves and such, but whenever it calls for more than like 2 16th notes in a row and the kick, I just get pretty shaky and sloppy. My heel down stuff has definitely improved with practice, but I need help with my heel up method, which is really what I'm trying to concentrate on now. I just can't seem to get a consistent rhythm at faster speeds with this method. And there's only so much speed you can get with your heel down or without your foot feeling like it wants to fall off. So any advice or tips you could give in that direction would be great. Just thanks for this podcast. I just appreciate the time you put into it.
Hey Ray, thanks for your question about foot control. I can definitely relate to your comments, especially when it comes down to playing double kick drum with your heels down. It's nice to be able to control your volume a little bit more, or play more subtly with the heels down, but when it comes to endurance and getting a little more volume, heels up method is a better way to go sometimes. So I'll just go over a couple of tips here for getting better foot control. Exercises I've done lately are like, go like this, where I'll play 16th notes on the snare drum. I'll turn the snare drum off or the snares off for clarity. That's 1 E-anda, 2 E-anda, 3 E-anda, 4 E-anda. And what I'll do is I'll try and replicate that on the kick drum. First I'll just play the first 2 16th notes of every group, every 4 counts. So it'd be like it's 1 E-anda, 2 E-anda, 3 E-anda, 4 E-anda, 1 E-anda, 2 E. So you can hear me playing on the double kick drum pedal, those first 2 16th notes. Then what I'll try and do is play 3 16th notes in a row of the first beat. And on my feet, I'm just going right, left, right. So 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and a. Okay, and then move up to 4 notes. That was 5. So that's one way to do it. If you don't want to spend a lot of time, or if you've already spent a lot of time at slower tempos, because that's the best way to develop, with heels up or heel down. It's just to play it slow and try and get steady at a slower tempo. Switch back and forth between trying to play something like so you should be able to play at that tempo slowly. If you can't, then just slow it down further. So right now, you'll notice that it takes some endurance and some muscle training because the tops of your legs start to get a little bit tight and start to burn a little bit. But the more you get used to it, the more you develop that balance point on your throne, and you're able to have your legs extended without your feet necessarily resting on the floor. It really targets actually your core, kind of your abdominal muscles, and also the tops of your thighs. So you can really feel your muscles being worked there. So once those muscles get up to par or get a little more developed, a little bit more used to it, the longer you'll be able to play, and with more control too. So it just takes time. So I would try those 2 different exercises. First, playing just a normal rock beat, but then play the kick drum's 16th note pulse underneath. Don't even try to go faster than that until that you can play along with a metronome at a slow, steady, under control speed. So that's one exercise. The other one is what I mentioned earlier. Try replicating on the kick drum what you're playing on your snare drum. And mix it up. Maybe play 2 beats or 2 16th notes on the kick drum along with the snare. Then try 3, 4, back to 2, 5, 8, whatever you want to do. So it's a little more fun, be able to mix up the patterns. And you actually will start to hear ideas for grooves come out of exercises like this too. Doing there is just playing 30-second notes, just speeding up the 16th notes. Well, that's it for this episode of Drumcast TV. Thanks for tuning in. I invite you to check out the new website at drumcast.tv and log in there, check it out. There's a list of recent visitors where you can see profile pictures and things like that too. So thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, keep practicing and God bless.